It was just another busy morning at Westbridge Technologies, but for the newly promoted executive, it was an opportunity to assert his authority. Standing over the cleaning cart with a coffee in one hand and his phone in the other, he looked down with cold arrogance. Beneath him, Samuel Carter slowly straightened his aching back, his weathered face showing the weight of his 68 years, as he murmured softly, "I am almost finished, sir." The executive rolled his eyes, his voice dripping with condescension. "You people move so slowly. This floor should have been done an hour ago." Nearby, two young employees waiting near the elevator laughed softly. Samuel simply nodded, offering no defense and no complaint, as he quietly returned to pushing his mop against the cold marble floor. But the people laughing had absolutely no idea that the old man they were dismissing had silently changed more lives than all of them combined. For nearly 7 years, Samuel had arrived at Westbridge Technologies every single morning before sunrise. Walking through the quiet employee entrance with his cleaning cart, he was like a ghost that kept the building alive, cleaning conference rooms, polishing floors, and emptying trash long after everyone else had gone home. Thousands of ambitious people walked past him every year, rushing toward their corporate futures, but almost none of them ever stopped to learn his name. To the arrogant 31-year-old Derek Mitchell, who genuinely believed that a job title measured a human being's ultimate value, Samuel was completely invisible. He wasn't a man with a past. He was just a functional piece of the building, something useful yet incredibly easy to ignore. Yet there was one mysterious ritual about this old janitor that nobody understood. Every morning before his shift began, Samuel would sit alone in the dim light of the break room, pull a worn leather wallet from his pocket, and silently stare at a faded photograph hidden deep inside. The colors had almost entirely vanished after years of survival, and the edges had turned soft from decades of being touched. Samuel would look at the image for a few quiet moments, a gentle smile appearing on his face, before placing it back against his chest. Nobody in the tower knew who was captured in that picture, or that this fading photograph was the sole reason Samuel still gathered the strength to come to work every single day. Among the hundreds of busy employees, only one person truly noticed him. Emma Brooks, the 26-year-old receptionist, possessed the rare kind of soul that noticed the people others chose to overlook. Every morning without fail, she greeted him with a genuine smile. "Good morning, Samuel." It was a small gesture, but to Samuel it meant everything. On this particular morning, the entire atmosphere of the Westbridge Tower felt intensely different. The underground garage was packed with luxury vehicles, security stood guard at every elevator, and stressed executives hurried through the lobby, clutching thick folders. Leaning over her desk, Emma whispered with a smile, "The board meeting starts soon. International investors are here. Everyone is terrified." Samuel laughed softly, noting the tension, before continuing down the hallway. As he approached the executive floor, a stressed supervisor ordered him to immediately arrange extra chairs inside the grand boardroom. Moving with quiet precision, Samuel carefully adjusted the heavy leather seats around the massive conference table. While he was adjusting the final chair, Derek Mitchell stepped into the room. Glancing at Samuel, he smirked and said loudly enough for nearby staff to hear, "When you finish playing with chairs, take the trash out too, and try not to embarrass us in front of the investors." The room fell into an uncomfortable silence. Samuel slowly looked up, his gentle eyes meeting Derek's arrogant gaze. Instead of showing anger, he simply nodded with immense dignity. "Yes, sir," he whispered. Derek turned and walked away, completely unaware that his life was about to change. Moments later, the heavy glass doors opened, and the atmosphere shifted completely as the billionaire CEO, Richard Anderson, walked into the boardroom. Known as a corporate legend who spent most of his time managing international divisions overseas, his rare appearance at headquarters commanded absolute respect. Every board member, investor, and senior executive stood up instantly. Richard walked toward the head of the table, but just as he was about to sit down, he suddenly froze completely. His sharp eyes locked onto Samuel, who was quietly heading toward the exit with his trash bag. For years, Samuel had seen Richard's face on corporate posters and business magazines over the tower, but Richard had never once looked closely enough to recognize him, until now. For a long, agonizing second, the billionaire CEO stared at the old janitor as a powerful memory from a lifetime ago rushed into his mind. Richard shook off the shock and began the meeting. But before Samuel could step out of the door, Richard's authoritative voice echoed through the silent room. "Please wait." Every head turned in absolute confusion. Richard slowly stood up from his chair, his eyes pinned entirely on the old man. With a voice that was suddenly soft, he asked, "What is your name?" Surprised, the old janitor turned around. "My name is Samuel Carter, sir." Richard swallowed hard, his hands beginning to visibly tremble. "Do you still carry the photograph?" Samuel froze. Slowly, his trembling hand reached into his coat pocket, pulling out the old worn leather wallet. He opened it carefully, exposing the faded picture. Richard stared at it from across the table, and within seconds, the powerful CEO's eyes filled with tears. The entire room watched in complete, stunned bewilderment, unable to comprehend why a tech giant was breaking down in front of a senior janitor. Breaking the suffocating silence, Samuel looked at the crying billionaire and said softly, "You look exactly like your mother." At those exact words, a heavy tear rolled down Richard's cheek, while across the room, Derek Mitchell suddenly felt his stomach drop as a terrifying realization began to take hold. Richard slowly walked around the massive conference table, stopping directly in front of Samuel, and whispered, "After all this time, I finally found you." Samuel lowered his eyes, his voice filled with a gentle sadness. "I never wanted to be found, Richard." A confused board member finally interrupted, asking for an explanation, prompting Richard to turn to his elite staff with a shaking voice. "When I was just a 10-year-old boy, my father passed away. My mother worked 3 grueling jobs just to keep food on our table, and there were so many terrifying nights where we had no idea how we would pay rent." He pointed directly at the humble janitor. "During the darkest, most hopeless years of our lives, this man never let us fall. When our electricity was shut off, an anonymous angel paid the bill. When we had no food, boxes of fresh groceries mysteriously appeared at our door. For decades, I believed those blessings were miracles from heaven, but the miracles actually had a human name, and his name is Samuel Carter." A heavy wave of shame washed over the boardroom as several executives slowly lowered their heads. Richard continued, his voice echoing with deep gratitude. "My mother's dream was to become a nurse, but we could never afford the tuition. Yet somehow the money appeared. The man who paid for it was not a wealthy investor. He was a hard-working man who sacrificed his own comfort, worked endless extra hours, and gave everything he had without ever asking for recognition. My mother became a nurse because of his sacrifice. I graduated because of his protection. Every single dollar of this empire started because this one man refused to let a struggling family disappear." Near the exit door, Derek Mitchell could barely breathe. The cruel words, "you people," echoing inside his head like a death sentence. Richard wiped the tears from his face, asking why Samuel had never reached out to him. Samuel looked out at the massive skyscraper skyline, then back at Richard. "When I helped your family, I wasn't investing in a future billionaire CEO. I was simply helping a little boy who desperately needed someone to believe in him." Richard's voice cracked. "Then why did you come to work at my company?" Samuel's face lit up with the warmest smile imaginable. "I only wanted to see what that beautiful little boy eventually became." The room remained perfectly breathless as Richard asked, "And?" Samuel looked at him with immense pride and said, He became exactly the man his mother always prayed he would become. Unable to control his emotions, the billionaire CEO stepped forward and tightly embraced the old janitor. In the center of the elite boardroom, the ruler of a massive global empire and the invisible janitor held each other like long-lost family. Richard stepped back, his emotional warmth instantly turning into a cold, fierce authority as his eyes locked onto a trembling Derek Mitchell. "This extraordinary man personally arranged the chairs you sat on this morning," Richard said, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "And you had the audacity to tell him not to embarrass you." Derek stared blankly at the floor, completely paralyzed with fear. Samuel gently placed his old hand on the CEO's shoulder, whispering with absolute grace, "It is all right, Richard. Let it go." Turning toward the head of human resources, Richard commanded, "I want every single employee in this company to hear this story today, and I want every one of them to know his name." Slowly, one by one, thunderous, real applause filled the entire room, not out of corporate politeness, but from human souls remembering what truly matters in this life. Because corporate titles eventually fade, fortunes come and go, but pure human kindness lives forever. The world measures success by titles, but God measures it by lives changed. Months later, a beautifully crafted bronze plaque was permanently unveiled in the main lobby of Westbridge Technologies. Beneath his beautifully engraved name, a single unforgettable sentence was written for eternity. "The world is often built by people whose names nobody knows." And from that historic day forward, absolutely nobody at Westbridge Technologies ever forgot the name of Samuel Carter again. If you believe kindness is never forgotten, comment "remembered" below.